So I know that carbon dioxide is easy to compress, and it also tells me that in our book. So it's stuffed in the can easily. So I infer that when you open it, it comes out easily because it goes in easily, right? Because it's easy, so it comes out easy. What about when you air up a balloon? If you pop it, what happens?
It'll pop.
Does the air come out quick, or does it does the air just stay in there and you still have your balloon?
It comes out quick.
It comes out quick because we know that gas is easy to compress, and that's what's in our balloon. So 133. Gases flow. The air inside of gases flow. The air inside a bubble spreads to fill the space inside the bubble. Matter and changes. Matter can change from one kind to another. Some solids can change to liquids. Some liquids can change to gases. Water is a special kind of matter. You know that water is a liquid, but it can easily be found in all three forms on our planet. This liquid in the cup is changing to a gas. So, on this page it says that water can be found in all three forms on our planet. Do they tell us the three forms? No, but what are they?
Solid, liquid, and gas.
So we can make the inference that that's what it's talking about, right? So how is this cup of coffee, how is it changing to a gas? What do you see? So look at the picture. What do you see? Zoe? You see steam coming up? Joshua?
I see that it's warming up and
Okay, so you think it's hot? So that's an inference Joshua made. He thinks that it's hot coffee, and that's why there's steam. So hands down for now. Water becomes a solid if it is cooled. So let's make another inference. What would happen if we put that coffee in the freezer? So turn and talk to your partner. What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen? No, what do you think would happen if we put the coffee in the freezer? It would get cold, but it's a liquid. So it will become a solid?
I know that because
Oh, nice. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So voices should be off.
it's this side.
Voices are off.
Is that this side or that side?
Water turns into ice when it freezes. Water freezes when it reaches a temperature of 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. Water becomes a gas if it is heated. It turns into steam. Water turns into steam when it boils. Water boils when it reaches a temperature of 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius. So turn the page. Water at any temperature can change into water vapor. Water vapor is a gas. This change is called evaporation. So raise your hand if you've seen a dishwashing machine and you open it right when the dishes are finished and all of the steam just comes to you. So that is water vapor. Head up. Some people use a drying rack after washing their dishes. The dishes dry after the water evaporates. So when you put your dishes away after you wash them, do they stay wet?
No.
No. Do they eventually get dry?
Yes.
Because the water evaporates. It becomes a gas. So books are down. Water vapor changes back into liquid water when it cools in the air. This change is called condensation. You can see condensation after a hot shower. The water vapor touches the shower door and turns back into a liquid. So some of us don't have shower doors, but raise your hand if you've ever taken a shower and then when you get out, the mirror is really foggy and sometimes you see the water dripping.
That's for my sister.
That's what happens? So that is called condensation. But I want you to make an inference. What would happen, so that happens when you take a shower with hot or warm water. What happens if you take a shower with only cold water?
It won't
So
happen.
stand up. You have a minute to find a partner and go. What would happen? So you should be in your seats. So I want to hear some inferences you make. So this time when you tell me, I want you to say, I infer, and then tell me what you think would happen if you took a cold shower. Ava. You would freeze up, but do you think you would see this condensation? Do you think your mirror would have the water dripping down? Do you think so?
Yes.
Okay, Sydney?
I don't think
Okay, so you have a different inference. So what do you infer?
I think that it was hot and
Okay, so Sydney thinks, her guess is that if you take a hot shower, you will see condensation, but when you take a cold shower, you will not see condensation. Why?
because it was hot, really hot, and
Okay, and what inference did you make, Joshua?
that if you take a cold shower, you might get cold.
But do you think you would see condensation? Do you think you would see that
Water stuff.
water on your mirror and on your shower? Okay, Ellie.
I think it might have this, but when you touch it, it might be really cold.
Okay, so you think there's still going to be condensation, but you think it's going to be cold?
It's going to be hot. And then we're going to say might
England, what prediction do you have? What do you infer would happen? Do you think, oh, okay. So I infer that if you take a cold shower, I think, my guess is that there will be no condensation because the air is cool and the shower's cool. So there's nothing I think there's nothing that can react together to make condensation. But that's my inference. So turn the page. 138. is a solid. It melts when it gets hot. It changes to a liquid. Bread dripped in melted cheese is a tasty treat. Juice is a liquid. It freezes when it gets cold. It changes to a solid. Ice pops can be made by freezing juice. But how can we turn, so I want us to make another inference with our table this time. How can we turn juice, so liquid juice, into a gas? How can we make the juice become a gas? So what do we know? So turn and talk to your partners or your table. So what do you know? How do you think we can make the juice change from a liquid to a gas? What do you think? So it's already a liquid. How can we make that to a gas? Okay, so think. So that'll turn it into a solid, but we want it into a gas. Okay, so you think you can heat up the liquid and it'll become a gas? Because what happens when you heat something up? Right. Yes. That's a little dangerous. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voices are off. How do you think we can change juice, so when it's a liquid, into a gas? What prediction do you make? What do you think you can do to make the liquid into a gas? Neat. Okay, so if it's a liquid, are they frozen? No, because when it's frozen, what form of matter is it? Solid, and we're talking about liquid. How can we make the liquid into a gas? Emily? So Emily thinks if we heat up the juice, it'll make a gas because it'll get hot. What made you think that? So Emily knows that when she heats a liquid up, there's going to be steam. And then she read that, okay, so Emily's using what she already knows. What does our book tell us? What did it tell us when we did to water? When we heat up water, what happens?
It melts to go back to its normal water and starts getting bubbly.
So when we put water on the stove and start to boil it, what happens? Ava, when you're boiling water, what do you see above the water? So think about it. Kennedy, when we boil water, what do we see above the water? We see that steam. Right, and water's a liquid. Do you think the same thing would happen with juice? Because juice is a liquid.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. That's my inference. I think if you boil juice, it'll become a gas. Okay, 140. We use solids, liquids, and gases every day. They are an important part of our lives and our planet. So I want you to close your book, stack them. Was it 45?